In today's video, we'll be going over an early game minion slash shadow build type of guide. So starting off, we're going to go with Reap, and then you're going to level that to the Enhanced Reap, and then the Acolytes Reap. Now, when you have the Acolytes, you can do, it's going to form a corpse, which is very good for what we want to do. Again, the Enhance, if an enemy is hit with it, within 2 seconds you gain 30% attack speed, very good. And then just the base one, you're going to generate essence with that. And increases your damage reduction by 50% for 2 seconds. So that's kind of like the starting out. And I would recommend just leveling this up as much as you can off of the start. And then moving down to the second tier, you're going to go with the Blight, where that's going to deal a lot of damage in kind of like a certain area. And then you can either go 2 different ways. So you want to go with the Enhanced Blade because that's going to slow them by 25%. I went with the Supernatural. So you and your minions deal 50% increased damage to enemies within it. Or it has a 30% chance to immobilize enemies. Now, if you want to go a little bit more of just purely just minion damage, you can do this. This build that I have too, Paranormal looks very, very well with it. Almost a little bit better, but this is a little bit more, just kind of your play style, your preference, because the 30% chance to immobilize enemies for the 1.5 second is huge. And then at the bottom here, we have the Hued Flesh, which your damage has up to a 12% chance to create a corpse at the target's location. Again, it can be doubled for against bosses. Level this up as much as you can so you get that 12% bonus. I'm going to go through the whole entire skill tree all the way down to like the ultimate. But again, if you're kind of early game, you can kind of set this up and how you want to do it. Because I'm not necessarily like super end game. I'm only level 38, but still, you can kind of set it up how you guys would like. Now, the Corpse Explosion is what we're going to want. Now, it's going to be one of your abilities. If a corpse on the ground, you can explode it. We're going to go to the Enhanced Corpse Explosion. Radius is increased by 50%. Really good. And then you have the Blighted and the Plagued. Now, I'm going to go with the Blighted because the Corpse Explosion becomes a darkness skill. Very good. Instead of exploding, releases a Vile Miasma, dealing 802 shadow damage over 6 seconds. Whereas the Plague one, 8% increased damage to enemies that are slowed, stunned, or vulnerable. These damage bonuses can stack. And for our minions, we have the Skeletal Warrior. You can level that up 3 times to increase the damage and life of your Skeletal Warriors. Moving farther down the list, you have Decrepify, and then Enhanced, and Horrid. So when your minions hit an enemy affected by it, 10% life, they're instantly killed. And basically the whole thing of Decrepify is this curse. So they're going to slow by 40% and deal 20% less damage as well. So I usually hit them with this, and I'll show you guys a little bit of a combo that you can do with this. Moving down, again, you have the Reaper's Pursuit, because this is more of a shadow type of build. So damaging enemies with this, going to increase your movement speed. The one that I would definitely recommend ranking up the first, if you're going down here a little bit later game, would be this Gloom, because when you damage enemies with your darkness skills, especially if you're going darkness, they take 4%, shadow, take 4% increased shadow damage from you and your minions for 2 seconds, and this stacks up to 3 times. So you can get up to, if I should put another one in this next one I get, so then I can get up to the 6% bonus. You also have the Crippling Darkness. Darkness skills have up to a 50% chance to stun for 1 second. Yep, and the next rank is going to be 2 seconds, so you have up to about 3 seconds for that. Moving down to the ultimate, Army of the Dead. It's going to spawn, basically, the Buried Dead, where they emerge over 7 seconds and they explode around your enemies. Really cool. Really cool ultimate. You get the Prime Army of the Dead, and then you also have the Supreme Army of the Dead, because once you do it, it raises your Skeletal Warriors and Skeletal Mages back up for you, which is really nice. Make sure you get all of these, because again, if you're going to go minions, these are all going to help your minions. So the Inspiring Leader, Hellbent, Death's Defense, and the Bonded in Essence. And then at the bottom here, if you want to focus a little bit more on minions, you can go with the Callan's Edict. If you're not taking damage in the last 3 seconds, your minions gain 50% attack speed. While you have at least 7 minions, this bonus is doubled. But I went with the Shadow Blight, because it affects enemies for 2 seconds. You and your minions also will deal 10% damage, bonus damage to enemies with the Shadow Blight. So as you can see, we have that working entwined with a bunch of other things here, with Blight and all the shadow damage. So that's kind of just overall of the skill tier tree. But just want to give you guys just, a little bit overview. So if you want to see kind of later game, later game, what kind of route you can go instead of just purely beginner. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys some gameplay of this build. So what you can do, you can hit them with your curse. And as you can see, if I explode the corpse around me, it's going to create damage over time effect. Very, very nice. You can just also just spam that as well. So you make it quite crazy. And with this, also going to have all of your minions going damage for you as well. So let's kind of go here, take out all these big hordes and groups. You also have your blight here, which you can do, and then we'll use the alt where that's going to go, and then you can start cursing around, and you cause a bunch of mayhem. One thing that I always like to do is just start off with like more of a curse, and then if I know they're kind of grouped, I will just kind of spam in a kind of a big kind of area all of the corpses, so I have it covered so they're constantly taking damage. There, they're all slow, stunned, and then you can hit with your so you can also get your essence back. Like, this build just has a lot of just damage over time, and then again from your minions, so you're constantly dealing damage somewhere along the line with this build. Also, let me know if you guys want to see any other types of build. If you have any comments on how you could change this build, or what you might want to add, what makes it even more fun or even a little bit better. I'm always down to new ideas. Hear those out, because then you can hit them with your blight ability, right? And then do that, and I have been absolutely cooking recently after this. So I was like all just necro blood build. I did just do a video on that, so I'll leave a link down below on that. But again, you can always respect it, especially at my level right now. It cost me 20 grand. It does get a little bit more expensive to go on, but again, you'll have more than enough money as you move on. So very, very nice. Make sure you always kind of respect. Use my alt here. Curse. Explode all those cords. Curse. Hit him with the blight. And there we go. Just like that. Also, something that you can add, or I would add, and I'm going through and adding to any of these builds for Necromancer, is any of the aspects. If you are kind of new to the game, you can go to Collections, Codex, and then you can do Show for my class. You can do offense, defense, resource, utility, mobility, doesn't really matter. You can then pin it on the map, and then you can just add that to one of your gear or weapons, and kind of get those abilities. So you kind of look through these, what kind of fits, your play style, what kind of build you're going for, and you go like this one, Blighted Aspect, 50% increased damage for 6 seconds after the Shadow Blight key passive damages enemies 10 times, and you get a whole bunch of these different really cool aspects to kind of mix up your build. So if you guys did enjoy the video, as always, make sure to like button and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Really do appreciate your support. It's humble, and I will catch you guys in the next one.